Happy Wednesday. Do you guys know what day it is every day? You know how you didn't know that when you were playing? Do you now know what day it is every day?
No, I don't. I only know when it's Friday.
Yeah, I know weekends. I'm not good on weekdays. I know Monday and Friday. Tuesday through Thursday is all the same. What about you, Kratz?
I know the days because of schedules. I'm still driving kids around. I think once you stop driving kids around, then you're like, I have no idea what day it is.
Mm-hmm. Brag about it. You know, every day. Also, we did get some feedback yesterday, a lot from fans who were angry at the troll that I called out yesterday, who was mad that we have ads on a free show on a podcast and decided to leave a 1-star review. We got some nice reviews. Maybe I'll read 2 of them real quick before we dive in. Ryan said, never listen to them. Your show's the best thing ever. It makes my shifts bearable. Also, I would describe y'all as comedic relief. Thanks, Ryan. In trending sports, as far as I'm concerned, this is the best show pod on any platform. Also, F the 1-star leaving a-holes. That's not a real baseball fan. Thank you. And many more like that. But we appreciate everyone that reached out. You didn't have to, but it's cool to hear from everyone. So I encourage you, if you've never reached out to us, to say hello via rating, review, subscribing to the YouTube channel, liking this video, commenting on it. We read just about everything, so send us a note. And let's charge the damn mound.
He's charging the mound.
Oneil Cruz is going to lead off the show today. So his teammate Nick Gonzalez had a walk-off knock for the Pirates to beat the Giants, but Cruz is torching baseballs, and he is now at the top of the StatCast list for the year. He had 3 knocks yesterday that were hit very hard. 116.3 on a double, and then he had a first and 9th inning knocks. And the 9th inning one obviously tied the game. It was a huge hit. And both that 120.4 exit velo and 121.5 exit velo are now the top 2 exit velos on the season so far. And that happened in the same game, one in the first, one in the 9th. The 9th was huge. They both kind of were the same knock, and he smashes the ball. So there it is. We're looking at it if you're just listening to us on the pod. Are you impressed when you see that? Like, does that get you excited? Forget the numbers for a second. Just seeing someone scorch a ball like that in a big spot, and the camera barely picks it up. It is going quite fast off the bat.
The one in the 9th inning was the one that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one for me that I was like, all right, because it was Doval throwing 100. Down and in that one right there. That was, 100. And, I mean, it got to the wall so fast, I didn't think he was going to get to second, actually. I mean, he hit that ball so hard, and it was at the wall on that short porch in Pittsburgh. But, I mean, he can run. And listen, when we talked to Rowdy, what did he say? He's like, dude, this guy hits the ball harder than anyone. He's like, he just touches it, and he goes forever. So, I mean, it's impressive. Can he put it all together? I mean, hopefully. But, this dude's a stud. It's like Ali De La Cruz. He's 6'7". He's gigantic. So, I mean, I think he's got a chance to be special. But we'll see if he can follow it up. There's still some strikeouts in the game. There's still some erratic plays. But it's impressive to see.
The one to left center was impressive to me. Yes, they were all super really hard. But to hit 116 Oppo, like, he's just – I mean, you see it on the list there. He's in Stanton territory. We used to me and John Mayberry in rain delays, we used to go into the video room and just look up Giancarlo Stanton doubles just because he was hitting balls that, you would see like the shortstop kind of flinch, and they're getting to the wall before you see the outfielders really even move that much. Like, just hitting balls that are just so hard, just in another stratosphere with the world's greatest players.
Mm-hmm. And he's got the hardest hit baseball during the StatCast era. That was in 2022 from Oneil Cruz. He is at 260, 303 on base, 441 slug, 744 OPS, 112 OPS plus, a little above league average so far in the year. Got to get on base more.
Yeah.
303 is too low.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got a lot of swing and miss in there. He's got the talent, obviously. He's got the skill set to do it. So we'll see. He's young. He's still young.
Yeah,
Dude,
you know how old he
why do
is?
you think the guys with so much bat speed can still swing and miss? Is it because that's just the natural, just baseball? Is it you'd think bat speed guys would be able to make more contact? And Luis Ariz has one of the slower, if I'm not wrong, one of the slower bat speeds. So why do you think that is?
I think the guys that swing harder try to swing harder, and therefore they miss more because they got to go a little bit sooner. And it's a little bit more like, I'm going to try and get everything behind this. Whereas a rise is like, all right, I'm just going to let the ball travel, and I'm just going to be short and quick as I can to it. And it's a different mentality. When you're trying to go deep and you're trying to get extension, you're trying to hit the ball as hard as you can, you have to go a little bit harder and a little bit earlier, because also you don't want to be late. So they're just trying to get it out front. And they swing and miss more because they make some bad decisions, and they have to, because if you're trying to go early, you're going to guess wrong sometimes.
Could they let it get deep with that bat speed?
But I don't think they would have the same bat speed.
They wouldn't generate it, is what you're saying.
They wouldn't generate it as much. No, I don't believe that. I think these new tools, I mean, I don't know if they measure all the swings. I haven't dug into it that much, but I mean, I think it only measures like probably the A swings. It's not measuring. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it measures all of them. Kind of
every swing.
Yeah, like I think if you told a guy, again, if you make strikeouts matter, guys' bat speeds are going to go down, because they're going to be more like, all right, I just got to put the ball in play. Now, if you go up there and tell me, all right, I don't care if you strike out 250 times, but you hit 30 homers, okay, then I'm just going to go a swing as hard as I can every swing, and that's what you see a lot of these guys doing, and that's the way of the game today, and that's fine. If that's what people want to see as home runs, that's what they're trying to give them.
I have a question. Remember when Ichiro said that he could hit tanks, but he chooses not to? Is that him saying, I'm Luis Ariz, if you fast forward to who we're seeing now, but I could have been something more if I swing hard?
I think.
What did he mean?
I mean, I played against Ichiro. I played with Ichiro. And listen, I saw him hit homers in BP, and he hit a walk-off homer against us one time, and did some other things that were really cool. But I don't know that, first of all, he wasn't big enough to constantly swing like that. You have to understand, like, at some point size matters, and in order to keep it up for a whole year. But Ichiro was not built like that. His hand-eye coordination and the way he swung and the way his body was designed was the swing he had. So I mean, yeah, it's easy to say, like, that's like, I could say, oh man, I wish I would have gone back and tried to hit homers more in my career. I probably could have hit some more. I would have struck out more, and the average in hits would have gone down. But sometimes you are what you are, and yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have been, Barry Bonds hitting 700 homers, but that wasn't the way I was designed, and that was just not the way my mentality was. So I don't know that maybe Ichiro could have done it. He was that good, but I find it hard to believe that he couldn't have hit. I mean, he could have hit probably more homers, but to be like a, Albert Pujols or whoever was the guy back then, that's a reach for me.
Yeah. I think my thing was, could he have added more power? Yes. Right? Could he have hit 10 more home runs a year? You would sacrifice some contact. You'd be swinging harder, right? It ties into this conversation. Okay. Got it. Lastly, on the Pirates, 23 and 26. They're now in third place in the NL Central. 5.5 out of the first spot with the Brewers there. Cubs in between them as well. Any feelings, any changes about this team with really Skeens
more energized with Skeens and,
I think so.
Jones, but they're still short for me. But they're a better team, and they look more energized with those guys. Especially the last Skeens start, and Oneil Cruz obviously got hurt last year. He's back. They need Brian Hayes to come back. Connor Joe's off to a great start for him. I mean, they're doing some things, and it looks like it's starting to trend up in Pittsburgh, but I don't think they're a playoff team.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I think they're still short. I think they miss 2 bullpen pieces, and I think they miss what is this? What is the lineup's identity in the sense of, what are they going to do to you? Are they just going to put good at-bats together? Are they going to minimize? It's weird because last year they didn't strike out that much. This year their strikeouts as a team are up. So are they going to start hitting for more home runs now that they have that? I need to watch more Pirates games. And if they claw closer to the wild card race, closer to the division lead, I'll start watching more. And I think there's some intriguing pieces in there.
Going to be able to add some financial pieces in the next offseason. They added Burns via trade, and also you had to pay for him. My thing with Pittsburgh is there are some gems, and there are a few more in the rotation, but they didn't fill their plate so much that they don't have to technically do anything and they can still be a playoff team. That's what I'm seeing from the Pirates tear down and now build back up, is that I think their peak this year is probably 500-ish, which I say about a lot of teams. And then this offseason, you're going to have to do something for the first time in a minute to be able to say, hey, I'm a legit, even wild card contender and a team that could make a Diamondbacks-like run. If they don't do that, it's still going to be short. They're not overflowing with prospects like the Orioles are.
If they get Oviedo back, obviously they're not going to sit there and go, okay, he's going to throw
Oviedo. He's not the answer.
I do love him, but that's just what I'm saying.
He wasn't any good in St. Louis, and he's been very average in Pittsburgh. I don't understand what the love affair.
But here's my thing. If you make the jump 6 games and you make a Diamondback type of run, now you're talking about the Pirates in the playoffs. Do the Pirates go with Jared Jones, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller? Do they go with the pickup?
It's not Oviedo. It's Keller over Oviedo.
By far.
I don't know. I explain your love affair. I just want to know your love affair with Oviedo.
I really thought he turned the corner in the last 10 starts of his season last year. I thought he started to attack closer to the zone and not nibble outside the zone. His walk rate went down, and his strikeout rate went way up in his last 10 starts. Just diamond in the rough. That's because they're not going to get Burns. I get it. They're not going to get Max Fried. So where are you going to find 6 wins if they're a 500 team this year?
Yeah, I just think, I've seen nothing but like a 4 or 5. I think he could actually eat innings for you. But
Oviedo?
Yeah, I think he's a back-end starter.
The Cardinals couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I know that. Pittsburgh took him, but I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hopefully it turns out to be great.
Yeah. My thing also, though, is I just think they're a couple position players away, too.
Oh, yeah, they need some more hitters.
Yeah, they need to hit. So there's still more work to do there. The progress is good.
It looks more like they're trending up than they were kind of like, now at least.
And I'm a big Endy fan, too.
Endy Rodriguez. Yep, I am, too. I agree.
Yeah, he was good for him last year.
Yeah. All right, let's run through a few others. The Phillies win as usual. They've won 27 of 33 games. They're 35-14, best record in baseball. They won 5-2 over the Rangers, who are struggling. Ranger Suarez, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts. You know your offense is struggling when you swing and miss that much against Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez is dominant. He's great, but he doesn't do that very often. So credit to the Phils. I think that Dave Dombrowski has put it well. I've heard him talk lately about how some of the guys who have been like role players or players with ceilings are now hitting them. Ranger Suarez, Brandon Marsh, Alec Boehm, automatic Alec as they call him, who came through multiple times yesterday for them. Go ahead, Kratz. This is your chance. Right now they are riding high, so I want to get the whole poetry in motion right now.
Isn't this what the team was built to do? Because they're riding so high, people are now talking about it in the city. Peaking too soon. Like, it's not a bad thing. They're doing this without Trey Turner, the guy that they wanted to be an MVP candidate. I guess you always think Harper is the MVP candidate, but this team last week, probably it was like a 6 to 7 game stretch. They were doing it with a Garrett Stubbs, Cody Clemens, Edmundo Sosa lineup. Now, yesterday they had Stott back in there. They had Boehm playing yesterday. He had a couple days off in that 6 game stretch. they're doing stuff that you're thinking like, this is too good to be true, how well they're playing, but they just are. They're getting the most out of everybody right now. So the key word people are going to start saying is there some regression here? Are they gonna regress, or is it going to be something that they can sustain this and make a run in the playoffs that ultimately leads to a World Series victory? I chose it. I chose them to win the division, but they haven't had any injury setbacks besides the Trey Turner setback.
I just think they're also built to be able to handle these injuries. Dude, if Trey Turner goes down for 3/4 of the team of the league, teams in the league, come on, Braun. They're screwed for that period of time, right? I mean, easy answer just because easy example just because it's happening right now. I know the Angels aren't good. Mike Trout goes down and you're like, oh, well, that's it. Season's over. It's like, oh, it might only be for 2 months. Doesn't matter. Season's over. Like you can't replace that. If Trey Turner's on many other teams in the league and he goes down like that, you're like, yo, we're screwed for a while. Like we're going to have to just tread water. This is a catalyst. This is a guy that's going to cause problems on the base paths. He's going to get on, right? He's our shortstop, the whole deal. They're not. I was going to say they're not skipping a beat. They're not skipping a beat. Like it's not a big deal right now. I think it's because the, quote, secondary players are acting like stars right now. And the stars are stars.
The stars are stars. Schwarber's doing what he's doing. Stott has been getting hotter. He started out slow. But what Alec Boehm's doing, I get it. My MVP pick, Harper, is coming on. I think he hit his 12th or 11th home run last night. Double digits by the middle of May here, end of May. Alec Boehm is doing things that they never expected him to do what he's doing right now. They expected him to improve. He's always been an RBI guy who could drive the ball the other way. But unless it was a lefty on the mound or they hung a slider from a righty, his power wasn't there. I think he's still leading the league in doubles. He might have dropped into second here just this week. But it's incredible what he's doing, and his defense is coming along with it too. He's above average on defense. They have Brandon Marsh, who's above average on defense. Like, they have the full package rolling right now, and I'd hate to play him.
Yeah, agreed. And Boehm with runners on. I mean, you name it. You look at his numbers for the last 2 years now. Runners in scoring position, runners on, runners in scoring position, 2 outs. All those numbers are towards the top in baseball. Okay, let's get to Kyle Tucker before we get to our first guest. 2 homers yesterday. He's got his second multi-homer game of the week. He's at 17, on pace for 56. We can show that Mike Petriello tweet as well, our friend. He said, "You, Tucker, swing only at the pitches you think you can do damage on. You got it, Skip." First of all, you know what that's called, right? Role play. But anyway,
done that in a while.
I know.
Thank God.
So someone stole my bit, my act. Kidding. 2024 numbers for Kyle Tucker. His zone swing percentage is 66.5%, which is much lower than it's ever been. His chase percentage is 15.8%. That's a really good number, and that is a career best. And his swing percentage in general is 39.9. So what Petriello was trying to point out is, dude's not swinging as much, not chasing as much. Clearly, whatever the heck he has decided from approach perspective is damn working. He ain't missing.
Well, listen, he's always had the ability. Everyone's talked about him winning an MVP one year. This could be the year, especially if the Astros climb back into it with what he's doing. He plays a Gold Glove right field. He doesn't chase. He hits lefties better than he hits righties a lot of times. He gets huge hits for the Astros when he needs them to. This guy has turned into a star, and it's one of the reasons why people talk about the Astros, and they're like, well, they signed Altuve. Why haven't they signed Tucker? Because a lot of people don't think they're going to sign Bregman, and Tucker's the choice. Well, this is why Tucker's the choice, and he's going to be really expensive. So good luck, Astros.
Remember Dana Brown said that something along the lines of definitely going to sign him. Tucker, remember that?
I remember him saying it. Like, it was almost like, it'll happen.
Will it?
They didn't seem worried.
his price tag's skyrocketing right now. We all know that. Like, he's been there. He already was going to be a coveted player because of the results and the ceiling. Like, I think he fits a lot of categories for teams when he hits free agency in a year and a half from now. What he's doing now is he's hitting that ceiling. So now all of a sudden he's looking like a player that could command whatever, $200 million plus, something like that. That starts to get interesting for Houston. They might want to take that back.
It's going to be expensive, especially if you put up a 3.5 WAR in the first less than 2 months. You start racking it up. You put an MVP in there. Ugh. Tough price tag. 200 might not be enough.
Agreed. Also, the Astros need all of it right now. And they're playing pretty well. I mean, they're still not there. You look up and you're like, you almost feel like they're playing better over the last couple of weeks, although we talked about them a lot yesterday with Fromber, that they'd be close to 500. They're still, I'm double checking, I think 5 under, 22 and 27. They're 5 under, 5 games back of the first place Mariners, who are 27 and 22 and had a nice game against the Yanks. We'll get to that later. But the Rangers are 24 and 25. They're only 2 games back from Texas. I mean, they're right back in it. That's why.
Yeah. The West, again, the West didn't run away from them.
No.
Nobody in the West picked up and said, all right, we're going to take this division over, whether it would be the Mariners or the Rangers. The Rangers are so beat up and the Mariners can't hit. So, listen, they're still alive. And don't count them out, because last year people counted them out. And Alex Bregman said, we guess we'll never know. Well, this year, as bad as they've been, they're 5 games under. They're 5 games out. And they got a lot of games in their division left, and they're just beginning to climb. So it's going to be an interesting watch in the West to see how they do.
Thing with Tucker, too, is he's not doing it. The only pitch he's really not hitting is curveballs. He's pounding. He just doesn't swing at the curveballs. He's got, like, ridiculously low league rate swings on the curveballs. So he's just taking every curveball, and if it's a strike, he's murdering it right now.
Mm-hmm. Get an MVP chance, as he should. I mean, 17 homers in his first 49 games. I think last year it took him until like mid to late July to get that number. He was off to a slow start power-wise, but he's getting MVP chance in Houston, as he should. And
hold on, Joe Ravello, and we know Tucker has 1 more year left. We're just saying they said they have to sign him or Bregman, and Dana Brown said
he said a year and a half.
Tucker. Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
but he's like, I don't know about Tucker moving just yet. He has 1 more. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. After next year.
We're aware. Yeah, after next year, he's a free agent.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody said he was leaving this year, but Bregman's a free agent at the end of this year, and the Astros have already said they probably can't sign them both.
They won't sign them both.
And Bregman's a Boris guy, and Tucker's not. It usually leans more towards the Boris guy leaving.
Yeah, I think Bregman's gone, and I think Tucker might be gone too. That's where the pick comes in, the wild card.
They lose Bregman and Tucker, and then you have Fromber, Verlander as free agents too. It could be the start of a quick
little transition time.
Yep.
Obviously, we don't know, but Dana Brown's comments, like when you listen, I remember listening to him being like, oh, okay. I thought it was going to happen already. I thought they were going to extend him. It just seemed like it was like kind of like an afterthought, like, we're going to get this done.
The Astros came back 3 times yesterday. Jeremy Pena had the walk-off in the 10th. And this is my favorite part of that game. Josh Hader, multiple innings again. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Well, after the night before when they had a game they should have won, they probably shouldn't have won this game, and they did. So they all even out. Yeah, right. They're not all even out.
Wait, I wanted to see if I can get the note, because I think it's already 3 or 4 times that he's done this. You guys know what I'm talking about with Hader? How many times he's done multiple innings? Yeah. Chandler Rome had it. I'll get it. I love when I look stuff up while we're chatting.
He had 2 punchies on the sliders, and then he went gas face to finish it off at the end. I think it was Joe Adell. He went upstairs 98, and he was cruising. Like, I don't want to say easy 2 innings, but it looked easy, especially when you have a runner on second and he stays on second in the extra inning frame.
He is cruising right now. He's on fire his last 10, 12 appearances. So Chandler Rome from The Athletics said Josh Hader is making his 4th multi-inning outing now in his first 20 appearances as an Astro. Yeah. I love that.
He can do it. He just didn't want to. He was smart. Then he got paid. Team put, as he said, the team put their neck on the line for him. He's like, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm. He's
been good. I mean, he's given up more runs, though, than he has in years past already.
Yeah, but it was all in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean,
he had the cold stretch in the first, 10 days or something like that? Yeah.
What was it? He's already given up 11 earned runs, and he gave up 11 earned runs all last year.
Is that what it was?
Number. It was some crazy number like that.
He might not give up any more the rest of the year. No, I mean, you got a long ways to go. But his cold streak happened to happen
early.
Yeah. Hey, let's get to a little update on the St. Louis Cardinals City Connects. I know we've covered them a couple times this week, as we do with all of the City Connects, and give our thoughts. But I think the best way to get an understanding of how players feel, because they're the ones that are showing them off, and they're cooler than us because they're usually in their low 20s, is to get thoughts from players themselves. Mason Wynn has a ton of swag. He's like the hot new thing in St. Louis. What do you think of the City Connects, Mason?
Went on sale, so we asked Mason for his thoughts on the City Connect.
Honest opinion.
Computer science degree.
They're City Connects, yeah, that's for sure.
True.
That's like when somebody, I was trying to think of the equivalency here. So let's say it's like close friend gets a huge tattoo and it's ugly. It's like, guys, what do you think? It's there. It's good. Like when there's something that you don't want to totally crush someone's dreams on, you don't say anything complimentary. You just kind of say that it's it.
Yeah. Listen, we talked about it yesterday. We talked about, was it yesterday we talked about these? Or Monday? Yeah. One of the 2 days. Monday. Yesterday. But, I mean, I think they're very mid. I mean, it's basically their same uniform in red.
But he couldn't even fake it.
They just literally took the birds on the bat and made it red instead of white or gray. And put the Lou instead of St. Louis. It was like they gave up. They were like, oh, yeah, we made them red. What else do you guys want? I mean, they could have done the birds on the bat. I mean,
they could have done a lot.
They should have been way different than what the normal uniform is. And they're going to say, oh, the people in St. Louis don't want that. People do want that. You've seen by the sales of the other teams' jerseys in City Connects. I mean, the Cardinals game on is right now, and it's basically the same uniform except white. I mean, they just took they took the STL, right, and just changed, instead of having it connected, they just took it and made it the hat straight across. So, I mean, they really didn't go very all out. It was very, very plain Jane to me and very average what they did. They just didn't want to go outside the box. I don't think they said, oh, we're going to take a chance here.
Yeah, I feel like this is how it went down. Whoever creates it came to somebody with St. Louis and was like, look at what I've created. And St. Louis is like, nope, back to the drawing board. Okay, next one. Little less out on the limb. Look what I created. Nope, back to the drawing board. And the person was finally just like, here's your last chance. Like, I just kind of doodled over top of your current uniform. We love it. Perfect. Just staying inside the box. And I think people in St. Louis are probably pretty pissed. And I think they missed out.
And it looks like, this reminds me of like Great Britain when they did the WBC uniforms. Like Kratz said, they were just like, it's almost like they forgot. And they're like, oh, we got to put these things out quick. So let's just throw this together as fast. Like they literally took the St. Louis, and instead of it being all connected, it just says STL. And then instead of St. Louis, it says the Lou. And it's the same uniform.
You got the arch.
I mean, okay, they put a patch on it. They could have done an arch on the front.
Correct.
And done the Lou on the something like that. Or they could have done the fleur-de-lis like Berger was talking about. They could have done a million. They could have done the river. They could have had a river, something, anything. But they just were like, okay, fans like the birds on the bat. We'll just do that, but make it red. And then we're going to wear they could have done like the bird caps. Instead, they did the STL.
Have you ever been asked to promote or support something with your team when you thought it was terribly done?
Yeah, I just told them no.
No, but like a uniform.
Yeah, Chris Sale chopped them up.
That was good.
No, the White Sox came to us one year Konerko and said, "Hey, we want to do black uniforms on the road." And Konerko basically went around and asked everybody, and we're like, "No." And he's like, and they're like, Brooks Boyer and all his wisdom was like, "Why not? They look cool." And we're like, "Dude, have you ever played in Kansas City in the middle of August when it's 137 on the field and wearing black uniforms? You try it." And he's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." I'm like, "Yeah, because you don't a lot of things." But it's like, they tried a couple things and we were like, no.
Why did he want that?
Because they wanted to train. They haven't changed the road uniforms in forever. Since like the 90s. So like, we got this great idea. We'll go black. And we're like, no. Everyone's trying to go lighter, less heat, and the White Sox tried to go hotter.
That's like the opposite of a performance enhancer.
Yeah.
Like black uniforms today, guys. We'll be toast by the 7th.
Yeah. Literally,
can't even get AJ to play. They're like, we can't even get AJ to play in the black uniforms. He plays every day.
We had dudes. I don't know about Kratz if you ever saw this, but like in Kansas City, St. Louis, like some of the places you don't think are that hot, dudes were like dropping, especially like even Philly back in the day in the vet. I remember going there and it was when it was the turf and it was in the middle of summer and it was like on the turf, it was like 140 degrees and just you could see the heat rising in the middle of the day and you're like, this is awful. But let's throw black uniforms on top of it, guys. Go team.
Chicago. The Cubs was the worst, most sneaky hot place because there's a bowl and there's no air. When they had the old dugouts, there was no place for you to I saw the most people drop there because there was no reprieve. You'd go back in the back and they'd have the ammonia tub, they would have the New Jersey, everything, and then you just come back out up the steps and it was like on some days when it wasn't windy, the bowl just got super humid. That was brutal. Those places you're talking about are really bad too because that humidity, you just sweat your brains out.
I feel like you're a good trooper, Kratz. You ever been asked to do something when you're like, yeah, I'll fake it.
Stop.
Say, this is great.
Of course.
All the time, right?
I'm not looking to get released because they want me to put, bacon strips on my jersey or the Santa Claus game. Like, don't talk. Like, if you want to go to a minor league game, just go down minor league schedule and the charity jerseys that they have, the auction jerseys. First of all, they're probably a $15 jersey. Second of all, we wore everything from Santa Claus jerseys to elf jerseys to what else did we have? We had spaghetti. We had spaghetti on our jerseys the one time. We had tuxedo jerseys. And it's just printed on, so it looks like you're wearing a tuxedo. Or it's printed on, it looks like you're wearing a Santa outfit. We played the Toledo Mud Hens as the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, and it was the bacon versus scrambled or sunny side up eggs game. Bacon and eggs.
That's incredible. I love that. I love all of that. Okay, we'll be right back with our first guest of the day, Karl Ravech from ESPN. UNIFYD Healing is sponsoring this episode of Foul Territory. UNIFYD Healing is an innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. This technology promotes wellness and deep relaxation, and there are hundreds of locations across the globe. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifydhealing.com/foul to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/FOUL. No material or testimonials on the UNIFYD Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System. First timer on FT, it's Karl Ravech, lead ESPN play-by-play commentator, and you can hear Ravi on Sunday Night Baseball, Home Run Derby, Little League World Series, and the College World Series is coming up too. So Ravi, great to have you on here for the first time. Are you ready for your probably most grueling stretch the next few months?
Yeah, fun stretch, and I have my hat on backwards, which I think is part of the show. I'm happy to do that. I'd like to bring that to our own shows on Sunday night. It's good. This is a good period. These are two really good events, and on the rare occasion you get a chance to see kids playing Little League baseball, then college baseball. and then Major League Baseball. So yeah, it's nice, and I'll be honest, and these guys probably can both attest to it. You get a little break during the Major League season from the Major League game. In a lot of ways, it's reinvigorating. It's refreshing. It's nice to see a different group playing baseball.
Do you guys like the ode to
I do.
AJ and Kratz?
I do. Normally, every
love
time I
that.
see Karl, his hair is perfectly coiffed, and he's in a nice, I saw him in spring training a couple times, and he was like perfectly made up. So to see him outside of his element is
He looked younger.
impressive. I would tip my cap, but my hat's on backwards.
Yeah, it's a good look.
What is it? Give me a little foul territory. Give me a little update. How does this work? What do you guys get into? The weekly, the daily? What are we talking about?
Okay, so actually, this is relevant for him. We should get his take because so Sunday Night Baseball this Sunday is Cubs Cardinals, correct?
Right.
So we were just breaking down the Cardinals City Connect uniforms. Some City Connect are awesome. Some they miss, and then some just don't try. So that was the one we were struggling with here. So the topic we had just before we brought you on is Mason Wynn's response to the Cardinal City Connects. I don't know if you saw it. We could run it again for you if you want. It's like a 5-second answer, or I could just tell you. He literally was asked, and he goes, "They're City Connects." And he's a swaggy dude. He's
cool.
young. He's slick. He's cool. And if he says they're City Connects, and he's a rookie basically on the team, like he's basically saying what a train wreck this was.
Look, you tell me. How many uniform attempts, even of any 30 teams, go over really well? Like, let's see, if we broke down the uniforms, how many fall into the nailed it category? How many fall into the it's okay? And how many fall into that's just complete garbage? I don't know if it's 10, 10, and 10, but all of this stuff is so subjective to how you feel about it. I mean, you see the bright blue City Connect uniforms in Boston. Like bright blue has very little to do with the city. I believe it's tied to the Boston Marathon tragedy, and I think so. Obviously, a worthwhile cause. But Mason's response to seeing blue on his shirt. I don't know, how do Arenado and Goldschmidt feel about it? What does Adam Wainwright think about it? I just don't think it's easy to throw a blanket over this stuff and have mass appeal and mass acceptance of it. It's look, there's a lot. Are there more haters out there than lovers? I mean, people just like to jump on the other side of it and say that sucks. Why are we doing that? It's terrible.
They're doing it because they're trying to sell jerseys, Karl. Let's be serious here. But
and I understand that part. I get. So whether Mason Wynn likes it isn't relevant to the selling of the jerseys. If people going into the stands like it and buy it, that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. True. It reminds me, Karl, when you used to go to London before you were too big time, to go to London, like some of us have to go to London this year, it reminds you if you had to go to the bathroom. I'm going to the loo.
So you're pooping on the jerseys. What you're doing, AJ?
No, I didn't say that. Maybe I'm not pooping. Maybe I'm peeing on them. I don't know. Maybe I'm something on them. I'm just saying, since you guys used to be cool and used to go to London, now you guys want to do.
There's going to be a crew in London. We're going.
I know it's
to
just
London.
It's just not you and Coney and Eddie. I get it. It's you guys are Dodgers, Yankees. It's totally understandable. I get it. Fox doing the same thing. So I get it. They're Smoltz, Davis, Yankees, Dodgers, Pierzynski, Wainwright. You guys go across the pond. We understand how it works.
Look, there's a lot of benefits to going across the pond. You know that.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good vacation.
Yes.
Great vacation.
Yeah, you got a week out there. Hey, Ravi, I have a question, big picture for you. So my favorite part of Sunday Night Baseball and what makes it different is the interactions with players. And same thing. Hey, trust me, I've done it too. I did the YouTube games back in the day. And it's like you get plenty of fans that love and appreciate what's going on there. Obviously, you're going to get haters that are like, I don't want anything. I just want the game. Like, cool. Okay. Well, then listen to the radio or take 5 seconds off. Like, I love it. I think it brings younger fans into the fold. I think it opens up our sport to more access, which I think is still a problem with our sport. Access and playing up entertainment when there is drama in our sport versus, say, NBA and NFL, which obviously gets covered a ton on ESPN. So I just wanted to get your state of baseball media and how you think that helps, right? Like things that you guys do on Sunday Night Baseball.
Right. Well, I am. I'm not even objective about the value of having Ozzy Albies wear a microphone, Francisco Lindor, Brandon Marsh. It doesn't matter. The idea that we get a chance to see who the players are, and I'm sure that most players, not everybody, and that's why they don't all do it, but there are many who recognize the value not only to their brand, as we go back to the City Connect jerseys, but their own brand. And we humanize these guys. Like for so many years, I'm not sure that we idolized them. And part of the idolization was the idea that you didn't have access to them. And now between Players Tribune and the way that players all would like to have their voice heard, here's an incredible way to get the guys to have their voices heard. And the way that they are able to do it, the sensitivity that we all have to the time of game. It's obviously done early in the game. It's not late innings. We obviously know the game well enough to try to stay out of their ears when a pitch is being thrown. There's no problem that I've recognized with any of them pausing. I mean, Brandon Marsh had a ball hit to him in the middle of an answer, caught it, continued his answer, said, "Thanks for having me." Same with Josh Young at third base for the Rangers. There has yet to be a disaster, and God forbid we have one of those, which will ignite the embers of those that are saying this is garbage, just focus on the game. But if I hear Rafael Devers laugh during a game and it can humanize him, then I think we all win, and he does for sure. Red Sox fans do, but man, let's recognize that these are human beings wearing uniforms who have lives, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, outside of baseball. And if we can get to know them a little bit better, recognize that they're dealing with similar things that we deal with off the field, whether it's, illness in a family, death of a pet, birth of a child, whatever it is, if they're willing to go there, it humanizes them. I think it helps grow the game. I think the younger generation appreciates it. And I think for the most part, Ronnie, the players have often said to us after, how can I do that? When can I be a part of that? It's so quick. And it seems like now when we do it, if you have the earpiece and microphone on, it's about a guarantee for a 1-2-3 inning, and you're going to answer 2 or 3 questions. It's automatic.
You asked to start this whole thing off. What is YouTube? What is FT about? What is Foul Territory about? This is exactly what we're about. We've had over 280 active player guests on here to
400.
Humanize.
400.
How many?
400.
400 active. I said 280. I missed a few days, Karl, okay? But, because baseball misses this stuff. And so I love that you guys are doing that. I love that it sells the game because it's selling the product on the field, not a vanilla, hey, everybody has to paint their house white kind of idea. So you're doing the College World Series. How do we tap into that? I get it. You put some college or high school kids on the mic and you're going to maybe get some things that maybe aren't quite as polished. You'll get some, good, okay. But how do we as baseball grow that so that this game can grow the way that I think it should grow and the reason that we started this show?
Kratz, it's a great question. Don't think that the idea of asking a college player or a little leaguer to do the same thing has not been brought up. I promise you that concept has been broached. And look, similar to Major League Baseball, as you know, and AJ knows this, and Ronnie knows this. Look, the first answer is no. The first answer is we're pushing back. We've got to kind of get our head wrapped around this. It's changed. There's definitely more of a progressive approach to it. There's still challenges in getting access. You guys all know it because you deal with major league teams. Some are more cooperative than others. Some have really warmed to the idea. Others haven't. The college game, Little League, the reason that they are two of my favorite things that I've done over 30 plus years at ESPN is because, like I said, there's a refreshing nature. I'm sure you've seen the YouTube clip of the Virginia Cavaliers eating bananas like it's corn on the cob. We've learned from college kids, they're funny, they're smart, they're silly. Like that's what makes the College World Series so much fun, and even more so the Little League World Series. We're blessed because you get really good players. And look, we've all been to Little League games. I don't know how many of you have had children go through it, but look, in the beginning, it's a bit of a chore. We're not good yet. We don't deserve to be on any stage, let alone talking on a microphone or having a camera on us. But by the time they get to Williamsport, they're really good teams with really good players with decent personalities, and it's our job to kind of mine the gold. Like you tell us who are the kids that like to communicate. The great part about that is other kids who aren't necessarily the outgoing ones get a chance to see it, and they say, well, this is an opportunity. Maybe I'd like to try that. Ask me some questions. So I am 100% on board with trying to spread the wealth. We've seen it now at the Field of Dreams. We see it during All-Star games. The PGA Tour does it. I think at one point during one of our Sunday night segments, LeBron James was talking about how much he enjoyed it and wants to bring it to basketball. Again, it's not for everybody. It's not for every player, but it is for those who want to be engaged and let people see another side of them. And my gosh, like Bronny said, for one half of an inning, the idea that we're going to get on our lawn or get off my lawn about just focus on the game. Prior to the pitch clock, many players were bored by the game, and they're happy to do some different things as long as it doesn't interfere, with the end result. And again, knock on wood, we haven't had that happen yet.
Karl, by the way, the pitch clock's the greatest thing that ever happened to baseball. I'm sorry. As far as speed of game, especially, for a broadcaster like you, a play-by-play guy, you don't get to get as many words in, but for the analyst, it is great because it happens so fast. But other than that, they need to bring it. It's college there. They need to bring it a little bit more into Little League because the Little League games run long. But the one great thing I will say about the Little League baseball is you say, oh, some kids aren't into it. Some kids don't do this. But every once in a while, you get that one kid. Remember the kid a couple years ago? My name is Karl Ravech, and I hit bombs or whatever.
Yeah.
Things like that. Those are the kids that people still make memes about them on Instagram and Twitter and all that. Because every once in a while, about once a year, you get that one kid. And in college, you get the kid from Virginia. What's his name? We had him on the show, Steven. The closer with that are just so great on the mic that I think more people are willing to do it. So I say thank you to you guys for doing it. I know we try it at Fox. And like you said, some teams are into it, and they're more like, let's do it in the dugout, with a starting pitcher or someone that's not playing. And I get it. But it still is cool to hear, like Miguel Rojas, I think you guys had on, and the ball was hit to him. He's like, oh, crap, hold on, I got to go field this grounder. Or Brandon Marsh, like, oh, I got to go catch the ball. Like, that's awesome to hear. And then you hear him breathing hard, and you're like, oh. And you realize, man, baseball's kind of hard. It's a little more athletic than I thought.
Yeah, Big Al was that dude's name. I think he was a New Jersey kid. Big Al was the guy that hits dingers. I appreciate that. Thank you, and I'll be sure to mention it to the production crew, et cetera, because it's the idea of people behind the scenes, and to the credit of Cody and Eduardo, look, there's a trust factor too. The players certainly recognize those that are asking the questions are not going to hopefully put them in an uncomfortable position, and it becomes a two-way conversation. Ideally, it's not an interview. It's really more of a conversation where they open up doors and you walk right down them. I know just this last Sunday, Ozzie was talking about his aquarium, and he talked about petting his fish, which as a guy that prefers grass to water, I wouldn't think about petting a fish, but Eduardo immediately followed up and said, you got to help me understand what petting a fish really means. And you could just see how light he was on his feet talking about this stuff. It's personal to him. It means something to him. The fan questions and getting them to engage with the players. And to their credit, thankfully, it feels like the players respect the idea that the fan has kind of gone out of their way to send a question in because they're interested in you. And that's so critical. So, Yeah, Little League and college stuff, I think a lot of times they afford you opportunities to get to know them personally that you wouldn't get with Major League Baseball. The access that Little League gives people like UNIFYD, who is an absolute rock star on the Little League World Series, whether it's driving around in her swag mobile and asking them questions, whether it's pregame interviews. Look, it's different. It's Little League. There's no great animosity. They all like each other. They all hang out. They spend time with each other for a week and a half. You know, to your point, the Little League World Series to me now has become what we all tend to do with series on different streaming platforms. It's binge watching for about 10 or 11 nights out of the summer. And the audience that the Little League World Series appeals to is very different than the college game and the Major League game. And I live in a neighborhood where there are people between the ages of kids who are 5 years old and men and women who are 95. And it literally crosses all of those age groups that they will come up to me when they see me and they would absolutely talk about the Little League World Series. Not Sunday Night Baseball, not the College World Series, not how Mississippi State hit a walk-off and won it, not about SEC. They love to talk about the Little League World Series because it has this mass appeal. It brings people back to when they were younger, to when they watched their kids or their grandkids. It allows the kids to see others their age. It just works. And over the course of the 11 days, you get to know Big Al. You know, you get to know Louis Lappy, who hit the walk-off home run for California last year. It's a warm-up. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of, you know, and they are the players setting the stage. Here are the themes. Oh, that team was really good. Oh, they have one great pitcher. Wow, that team has the 2 girls on it who are really good players. And day 7, day 8, day 9, you're like, oh, I can't wait to see the California kids. They are the kids from Curacao. They have such great personalities. All of those things work so that when we conclude it on a Sunday afternoon on ABC, the number of people who flip on Sunday or Monday night and they're like, wait, where? Oh, it's over? Oh, shoot. Now we got to wait again. So the binge watching is over. The series, in a sense, has ended, and we'll do it again next year.
Karl, last one real quick, because we have Brent Rooker. He plays for the Oakland Athletics. You guys haven't had him on Sunday night yet.
Good and a good college program. Good hitter in college.
Yeah, Mississippi State, Hail State, won the Triple Crown in the SEC, even though you think the SEC sucks. But we'll have you on again, and we'll argue about that. Now,
the SEC sucks.
You go, oh, the Little League is better than the SEC, but it's fine. They're probably going to get 10 or 11 teams in. Okay, so Karl, last one before we go. The College World Series is coming up. I love college baseball. I love watching Little League baseball. I'll binge watch both of them. Last year we had Paul Skeens. Is it going to be Hagen Smith this year? Who's going to be the guy that everyone's like, this is the guy I have to watch in Omaha? Because obviously it was Skeens and Cruz. Who is it this year?
And Langford last year. Again, this all depends on which teams get there. Could it be Arkansas and Hagen Smith? Absolutely. Could it be Oregon State and their best hitter? Absolutely. Could it be Jack Caglione, the two-way player for Florida? Absolutely. But in order for it to become any one of those or anybody else, as you know, you got to get to that stage. So the 8 teams that make it, it's likely to be one of those dudes from one of those teams. I'm not sure how long we can talk about Smith if Arkansas is not there, or we can talk about Caglione if Florida's not there. So you hope that the Stars get there. Last year it obviously aligned with LSU getting there and Langford with Florida getting there, and how much of an impact he's had on the Rangers. So you got to get there, and it will be, if it is those teams, it will be multiple players. But, you know, Skeens clearly dominating the major leagues the way he is just showed you that there was no fluke in college, and we were really lucky to have LSU there and have him dominate. The only thing that didn't happen was he didn't get a chance to put his nails on in the last game. We were all thinking, is he going to come in? Like, is he going to put those on? Or are we going to get Skeens? And it never got to that spot. But shoot, I'm an SEC basketball guy all winter, and I love SEC baseball.
It means more. It just means more. Carl.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
Just
These two Northerners,
just different.
they just don't understand. It just means more.
Nah,
they don't get it. They don't understand.
We got Ballbuster City right here every day, so don't take it personal. But Karl, we love what you do. Appreciate you, man.
I've had a lot of shit thrown my way. None of it's personal.
Exactly.
Good. Give Karl a follow at Karl Ravech ESPN. Also, we'll see you on Sunday Night Baseball. We'll be watching Cubs Cardinals, Little League World Series, College World Series, the whole deal. Thanks for swinging by, and I like the backwards hat action.
Yeah.
Deal. Let's do it again, maybe post-College World Series.
Done. Easy. Deal. We'll wrap it up after that. Thanks, Karl. Karl Ravech from ESPN with us on FT Live. We're less than a minute away from bringing on Brent Rooker from the Oakland Athletics to keep rolling here on FT.
Do you guys ever think of when you hear the name Karl? You know, Karl, nice to see you. Billy Madison? No?
I do remember that. It's been a minute, though.
I mean, I don't really think about that when I hear Karl.
That's all I think of. Sorry.
Once you said it, it came to mind. Let's bring in our next guest, Brent. Nice to see Brent Rooker back on FT Live. Brent, how you doing, dude? And
Brandon?
do you feel
Hey, guys.
Yeah,
Whoa,
what's up?
whoa,
He looks studious.
Wait, who is that?
Nerd alert!
He can't be studious. He went to Mississippi State. They don't study at Mississippi State. I've heard.
It's still morning over here. I haven't put my contacts in yet. Kratzy, that is what I think of when I hear Karl, though, every time.
Thank you, Brent. I figured you were listening.
Yeah, I was listening. You're not alone in that. You're not alone.
Yeah. So
I like this trend of backwards hats too.
I just saw Rook about like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Sweaty after he's hitting balls in the second fountain in KC.
Yeah. It's hot. Good to see you, though. Always good to catch up in person, not on here.
Yes.
Exactly. You too, Brent. So let's start here, okay? Most people were like, the A's are going to lose 125,000 games. I think that's not going to be the case. So do you feel like it's an us against the world mentality at times with the way that your team's playing ball? And I know it's slipped a bit again lately, but I think it's been made clear that there are going to be teams that are in worse shape than yours at the end of the year, especially when the team's still on the rebuild plan right now.
Yeah, I think I think we heard all that noise in spring training, obviously, and I think we had a goal as a team to kind of prove a lot of people wrong, and I think we've done that so far this year. I think we've had, obviously, we just came off a little stretch where we didn't play as well. We won a big game last night. We were playing really well a couple weeks ago, and guys to continue to improve, and I think we're going to be in a better situation even in a couple months from now than we are right now. So I like how we played. I like the competitiveness that we showed and the growth we've shown, and I'm just looking forward to kind of seeing where this year takes us.
Is there a sense of, with the back end of your bullpen, that games are a little bit shorter, that you're sitting there going, man, if we can just scrape something out here in the 6th or 7th inning, if we can grind this out, the boys in the back end are going to absolutely shut the door.
100%. There's definitely that sense, and that gives you a ton of confidence as an offense and as a team in general, just knowing. People talk about Lucas and Mason, the 8th and 9th, but even the guys that are throwing, Austin Adams throwing the 7th for us, TJ McFarland's throwing some big innings for us. So the guys at the back end have been so good. Last night's a perfect example. Seth hit a homer in the 7th, I think, to tie it. Lucas comes in the 8th, obviously doesn't give up anything. We hit a solo homer in the 9th, and then we got Mason Miller we just hit a solo homer in the 8th. I'm sorry, and then obviously Mason comes in the 9th, and when Mason comes in the game, you've got a really, really, really good chance to win. So it gives you a ton of confidence as a team for sure.
Hey, do you guys look forward to Mason Miller coming in as much as I do and everyone else does? And the small crowd that is in Oakland, when he comes in, the place still gets loud. So, I mean, when you guys see him come in, is it like, oh, shit, what's he going to do today to make us wow?
Yeah, I mean, it's a show every night. And you ask the question, what's he going to do today? But the thing about it is, like, you know exactly what he's going to do every time. He's just going to throw it 103, and then he's going to throw that wipeout slider at 87, and he's going to strike everybody out. And it just happens over and over and over again. I think we joke about it in the locker room, but, like, our whole game plan every single night is just find a way to get Mason Miller in the game, because we get Mason Miller in the game, we've got, like I said, we've got a really good chance to win it. And it never gets less entertaining watching from the dugout or from the outfield or wherever. Like, watching him go out there and just dominate is awesome every single time.
Being a big league hitter, though, you can hit anybody. Tell Mason on here what you would do if he brought that week 103 into Rokerland.
Yeah, I mean, I think the scouting report is you just got to pick one of the pitches and you hope you pick right, and then you hope you hit it even when you pick right. So I've been working with Mason kind of in the clubhouse. I've been giving him some grip tweaks. I think he can kind of work on some stuff and get a little bit better than he's been doing. So I joke with him all the time about that. But I mean, it's just as a hitter watching it, you're just really happy he's on your team, because I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what the opposing scouting report says, but it can't be encouraging walking up there trying to face that.
Okay, so I have to ask Brent, because we just had Karl Ravech on, and I'm dealing with a guy from New Jersey and a guy from Pennsylvania. Okay, Kratz went to a Division III school. I skipped school because why not? But SEC just means more. Mason Miller, D3. Just tell him, dude, you went to the SEC, bro. You saw that every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you would have no problem with Mason Miller. He was a midweek guy. You're like, oh, Mississippi State, we're playing, I don't know, whoever, Mercer. Oh, midweek game, we got this guy.
Yeah, every seventh guy in every SEC bullpen is 102, 103 with that kind of slider. So it's just
right.
common. It's commonplace down there. You get used to it and you just deal with it.
Boring baseball.
I have a real question about Mason, because
that was a real question. What do you mean? That was a real question.
No, I know. But the reason I bring this up is because you might think like, oh, why would you mess with this? He might be kidding. Should Mason Miller go back into the starting rotation eventually? He has the stuff, the repertoire. He's done it in the past. This was also a way to try something else because he had gone through injuries, but I don't think it's crazy to say that he could be a number one starter in Major League Baseball. And a number one starter in baseball is so rare and generally worth more than a shutdown ninth inning guy. So would you think about that if you were, making decisions like that?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, ultimately that's going to be up to people who aren't me, of course. Mason being one of those guys. You look at what he's doing as a closer, and it's historically dominant, right? It's like, he's got a negative FIP, and I don't even understand FIP, but I understand for it to be negative I don't think it's ever happened before. So it's just like he's doing things that I don't think we've even seen in the sport. So it would be tough to want to take him out of that role, but at the same time, I mean, you're right. He has the stuff to go out there and be an ace and dominate for longer periods of time as far as innings goes. But I mean, I think right now we just enjoy what we're watching and kind of let that decision fall where it may in the future.
Yeah, I might get some hate for that. I'm also just crowdsourcing because I've actually read about it and still heard people say, I think he could be a number one starter. So just something to think about, because I think there's two examples. There's Josh Hader, who was starting at one point and ends up just being a dominant closer and occasionally now can go multiple innings. There's Jordan Hicks for the San Francisco Giants out there right now, who's nearby. And he was a ninth inning guy and then just a bullpen guy for a while. And some people were like, it's crazy. Why are you going to make him a starter? He looks freaking awesome. He's got a low 2s ERA and it actually looks like he's still got another level. Sure, his stuff's playing, quote, down a little bit. His velo's not as high. But I think it's actually helping him with his command and his control to be able to go 5-6 innings.
Yeah, we saw Jordan in one of the Babe Bridge series games before the season started. He's starting against the season. I think he went 5 and he looked great. So his stuff's definitely playing as a starter. The pitchability's there for him too with the 3 pitches he's throwing. I don't think when he was in the bullpen, I don't think he ever threw that splitter as much as he's throwing now. So having that third pitch is obviously helping the starter transition a little bit. But yeah, he looks great. So that's definitely something to keep in mind.
So what about Rook? Why are you not a 44-game guy right now? Do you go into Kotze? You're on another all-star path like you were last year. Do you go into the manager's office and say, I appreciate how much you're playing me and those, the 6 games I didn't get in this year, I couldn't have helped the team. I'm really just maxing out. Or are you like, Kotz, like let me get in there. Like, I need to be in there every single day.
I spent 10 days on the IL.
Piss. See?
So
poor research.
So there's your
More
answer.
research by me. So
There's
then let's go to your adjustment from the first half to the second half last year back to the first half this year. Is there anything connected to this, not hot start, but the readjustment to what you were doing in the first half?
Yeah, I think so. I think just kind of the longer you're in the league, the more at bats you get, the more you're exposed to pitchers. There's always the pitchers adjust to you. You got to readjust the pitchers, and it's just this constant cycle of kind of figuring out what guys are going to now start to do to try to get you out, and being able to make your own adjustment to be able to compete against that. And I think that's kind of what's part of what makes this game great and what makes playing in this league so much fun. So I think this year I've done a better job than I did last year of just having like a really specific game plan going into each at bat and then sticking to that game plan, being stubborn in my approach, and kind of letting the results of the at bat fall where they may. Instead of sometimes you go up there as a hitter, you've got a game plan, you've got an approach that you think is going to work. Then all of a sudden the guy does something a little bit different. You're down 0-1 and you just completely abandon the approach. Like, all right, well that didn't work. Let's try something different. And then that ends up not giving you the best chance to succeed in that at bat. So what I've done this year, I think better than last year, is just have that game plan, have a really well thought out approach and a reason to have that approach, and then go in there and be stubborn with it, and just kind of trust in the process that if I do that enough times that I'm going to win a lot of the at bats.
A question that maybe kids would have is about elevated pitches, right? And elevated fastballs. How do you hit them? I guess I'll just ask it that simply, right? Because I know you think about these things and you're not, Miggy, where you're just like, I don't know, I just do everything well and I just show up and just hit balls.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so my thought process on obviously the high four seam, which gets a lot of play with guys having the high vertical break and all that stuff, comes from, I learned from Josh Donaldson in 21 when we were in Minnesota, and his thought for it was always like, if he thinks a guy's going to try to beat him up with a fastball, as soon as he sees the pitch, he's trying to just get his front elbow up above it, and that's going to put him on plane and let him attack the top part of that ball, to be able to stay on top of those riding fastballs at the top of the zone. So that's been my thought process on it the last couple of years. It's worked for me. Just if I think four seam's coming, or if it's a guy with a really good elite fastball, that as soon as I see the pitch height, I'm trying to get my front elbow up above it, and that's going to put me on plane and let me stay on top of that elevated fastball.
I got a fan question about your teammate, Abraham Toro. Travis said, can you ask Rook about him? He was close to being DFA'd in April, and now he's had a monster month of May. What are you seeing?
He's a really professional hitter. He looks like he has a very good game plan going in every at bat. There isn't a pitch or a pitcher profile that he really has struggled with. He can hit everything. He swings to the right pitches, and he's done a really good job of taking advantage of mistakes in the middle of the zone. So I've been incredibly impressed with him. He's obviously been unbelievable for his first month and a half, and I don't think it's going to slow down. Just kind of watched him day to day.
Brent, best team that you've seen so far this year?
Baltimore is really good. New York is really good. The Royals are really good. Cleveland is good. There's a bunch of good teams. I was really impressed with Kansas City. I think that the young core they have, obviously led by Bobby, and then I thought their pitching was really good too. I'm gonna say, like, top to bottom, I think Baltimore is probably the best team we've played, but there's a lot of really good teams that we've seen so far.
Yeah, they haven't played the White Sox yet, clearly.
Have they not? Have you not played the White Sox yet?
He's not even gonna take the bait on that. Come on.
Yeah, no. Plead the fifth. Follow up on Kansas City, because you saw them last year. Bobby was there last year and he was crushing it. Obviously, Salvi's on fire right now for the team. But do you think that them going out there in the offseason and picking up these veteran starters has made all the difference? Because obviously it helps from a performance standpoint, but when you watch them last year, so often, you had younger guys that were learning and having trouble finding the zone. Then the bullpen starts getting taxed out of their mind. So, I just feel like at times there are veteran starters who are 3, 4, 5 range who get overlooked because, maybe their stuff's just, quote, average these days. But it's making a huge difference for them. Yeah,
for sure. I think obviously the year that Lugo's having, super impressive. Walker's throwing great. Cole Reagans is electric. Everybody knows that. So the guys that they have starting games for them right now are really good. And I think as always, having the veteran presence of experienced guys who have been around the league and been on different teams that have had success and know what that looks like and know what that takes is always going to be beneficial to a club that relies on a lot of young players.
Rook, Sacramento. You guys are clearly going there to play next year. What is your excitement about going to Sacramento? And what is your fear as a big league team going into Sacramento?
I think the excitement comes from the opportunity to develop a fan base. Obviously, I think a franchise and a team with as much storied history as Oakland has, that being able to kind of, obviously the moving locations is what it is, but being able to bring more people into that already existing fan base is exciting. I think the concerns on our part is just making sure that the stadium gets up to standards to be able to house a big league team for 81 games. But I think kind of where we stand on that is we trust the PA. We think they're going to do a fantastic job. Leadership there is going to do a good job of making sure that stadium is up to par before we go in there and use it as our home site.
Brent, last one before you go. I know you guys were playing last night. It was late out there on the West Coast, but did you happen to catch the last game of the SEC tournament last night?
I saw the last swing of that game. That's about the only. That's all. That's the entirety of the game that I saw. That's all I needed to see.
All you needed to see right there.
That's all I needed to see. So yeah, I saw the ending of it. Exciting.
Does it give you a special feeling every time Mississippi State beats Ole Miss? Does that still
that never gets old, especially with how much we have dominated that series in the since my sophomore year. So since 2016, we have that series has been very one-sided to the point where it's getting tough to consider it a rivalry still when the win-loss record goes so skewed one direction. But obviously the Mississippi State's they're right there on the bubble of trying to get a host site for the tournament. So that's a big win for them, and a couple more in the tournament. The SEC tournament should put them in a good position to host, which is always exciting to have a regional in Starkville.
I thought Ole Miss and Mississippi State were the same school.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a different.
Yep.
Wow. Is it like an inter squad?
Yeah. It's like a split squad in spring training.
For the championship of the SEC, the split squad. Ole Miss and Ole Mississippi State. That's nice.
Yeah, Ole Miss is just a nickname for Mississippi State. It's just like another cool way that the kids say it.
Mississippi State University of Mississippi State Ole.
Exactly.
Rook, my daughter moves into Starkville in July, so I'll be hitting you up for some recommends.
Yeah, man, it's the city is.
There's not a ton of places.
Since I was there, bunch of new restaurants, bunch of new.
They got two McDonald's now. Two McDonald's.
Really?
A Chipotle.
They got a
Chipotle. They got a Chipotle. Chick-fil-A. They are moving up in the world.
It's growing up. It's growing up. It's cool.
It's growing up.
It's growing up. Exactly. Perfect timing. At Mississippi State volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's at.
For sure.
Yeah. Brent, great to see you, dude. As always, appreciate you. Keep doing your thing. And I know you won't say this, but we'll keep promoting this. Hopefully, we will see you in Arlington in a couple months too. Okay?
Sounds good, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. See you, Rook.
Bye.
Brent Rooker with us on FT Live. Got to be there. Ready for it? Ready for the line?
I get so excited about the All-Star game, but I get excited I went to one SEC football game, and it was in Oxford. Our friends and they weren't very good that year. It makes me want to go to a lot of them. Like I'll still keep throwing shade to AJ about the SEC because that's fun to throw shade at AJ about anything. But the atmosphere in the tiny, small town that's the size of my basement, I think is electric, and I think baseball can capitalize on it because I've seen the stadium, I've seen what it looks like, and I think Major League Baseball needs to capitalize on what the SEC baseball has and really delve into that. I think they're missing the boat, but that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I just wanted to say we will be in Arlington for All-Star in case anyone was unaware. I know some people asked if we're going to be there. We will be there. We will be doing shows. We'll announce more about it and where we'll be and You'll be able to come say hi and watch a show if you're going to be out there at all. But yeah, hopefully Brent Rooker swings by. Hopefully they take two, Mason Miller and Brent Rooker. Rooker's at 288, 361 on base, 583 slug, 944 OPS, 171 OPS plus for his hitting stats. Holy shit.
He's having a good year.
Yeah. He was having a good year last year. Obviously, it was the breakout at 28 years old at 126 OPS plus. But this year is off the charts. And even if he goes through a little slump city at some point, I mean, he has built himself a really nice cushion.
The question is who else would be, I mean.
He's going to compete with a lot of guys.
The problem is how many players are the A's going to get?
Two tops.
Mason Miller.
And him.
Langoliers is doing all right too, though. That's the only one.
But he's got competition. That's a tough spot, right? You've got Salvi, Heim, Adley. Right there, those three alone, if they're healthy, makes it tough for him.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying. I agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, Mason Miller is pretty much a lock unless he's hurt.
Yeah.
Rooker, the question is, who else, who's he competing with and what's he got to deal with? That's
Judge, Soto.
Yeah.
But there's other dudes, like Julio's been down. Like he's probably not going to make it unless he goes on a crazy
Anaheim,
run.
who's, Adoli's, there's usually one Anaheim guy that sneaks in there. Or, I mean, not Anaheim, Texas guy because they're hosting.
Right.
You're saying
obviously
guy.
Yeah, right. It's like, we got one more. Let's take him.
And Texas won the World Series, so Bochy kind of can manipulate it a little bit to get, let's say, an Adolis Garcia in there, right?
Yes,
we'll make sure we promote it on the show.
But no, I think Rooker has a great chance. But if you go around the league, there's some outfielders that can bang.
Yes.
And I just hope he doesn't get overlooked because he's in Oakland.
Agreed. I think it's even tougher. So just keep an eye on Brent Rooker's name when you're voting, please. Thank you. And next up, let's talk about our daily health, our energy, our gut health, our focus, concentration, the whole deal. Let's talk about AG1. I first gave it a try, recommendation from a friend a while back. You can also see the code as we're talking, drinkag1.com/foul. Kratzy, want to let us know how you handle drinking AG1, both at home and on the road, please, with them travel packets, which help me a lot because I don't like to pick out how much I need to put in my little drink mixer thing.
And it's so much more difficult to make your own travel pack, and then you take a scooper and then it breaks apart in your bag. These things right here are game savers. Oh, I'm going away for 5 days. I'll get 5 packets. Throw it in my nice little shaker that they send you. It's legit. It's so legit. Like, you wake up in the morning, you take it, you have it with your breakfast. It goes down easy. And I'm sitting there like, I just have more clarity throughout the day. And on the road, I always talk about on the road, it is tough to eat. It is tough to eat healthy. I can't take my Vitamix with me so that, I'm only eating crap at restaurants. This just gives me that assurance that I'm getting all the things that I need for the day.
Mm-hmm. Since drinking AG1 daily, for me, gut health's the focus, noticing a difference. AG1 is a foundational nutritional supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. And since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. And not only can you do what Kratz mentioned, replace that multivitamin just with AG1, but every scoop also includes prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes for gut support. So go give it a try. It's AG1. We're excited about it. They're a new partner on FT. And if you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Go try it out and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs that we're talking about with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/foul. That's drinkag1.com/foul. Go check it out. Oh, we got an Ump Show? We haven't had an Ump Show in a minute. We got an Ump Show?
Had an Ump Show.
Right.
That's okay. We can be honest. We're stretching a little bit here.
I didn't think this was an Ump Show.
That's fine. Quick intro to this, because there's a dude in my building, Tim, who is a massive FT fan, works in the building that I live in down here in Orlando, and he said he's a big fan of the Ump Show segments. So just wanted to shout him out. He said, hey, everyone should be held accountable, and that's what you do on FT. Because I was like, what do you like? He's like, I like that you hold everyone accountable. Some shows only hype and bash players. You guys do that with players, umps, coaches, GMs, owners, whatever. Whoever deserves hype or whoever deserves to be bashed. So here we go with Ump Show, and maybe we will give a little bit of praise to the ump this time because it's not necessarily his fault. Do you feel that way?
I mean, I think old Newt Bar wanted to go home early, and I mean, I think that's Mike Estabrook, isn't it? That back there looking like Kratz's head. Laz Diaz, former Marines. Laz Diaz steps in for Marine and is like, I will put you in a hold you can't get out of, Lars. Descalso tries to get in, save Newt Bar. I mean, listen, it was a borderline pitch. I get it. It was also like the first inning. Like it was this Newt Bar went in saying, all right, this guy's going to screw me somehow. This is overreaction Tuesday right here. And I mean, the first one, I guess, is the one he's mad about?
No. Whose at bat is that?
That can't be the right at bat.
No, that ain't right. That wasn't it.
That's Goldie, but that's great.
Yeah, that's Goldie. No. It was before that. He did get squeezed.
I mean, it was a little bit up and in.
It was a little bit.
But it wasn't like where it almost hit him and he jumped out of the way. I don't know. I didn't think it was that. I thought it was just like he was going to this game like, I don't want to play today.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
first
like
inning?
First inning, first at bat. I feel like
or maybe there's history.
Something going on. That just seems like a lot.
Let's show it.
Early.
We have it. Here's the pitch for people that are watching right now, not just listening.
I mean, that ain't that bad. That's ticking. That's just missing the box.
He missed, but it wasn't like Angel Hernandez, Wyatt Langford status here.
No.
Whew, that was bad. I mean, and he's close to the plate, so maybe he felt like, I mean, he's not wrong. I get it. It's a ball, but first inning, to me, there has to be something else that was brewing before that. Like he's had an issue with Mike before. I don't know.
I mean, if he would have called number 3 down there, then that probably would have had a problem. Number 3's dead and buried down there. You can't even see it. I mean, if he calls number 3, he might have action, but number 4, I mean, it was close. This reminds me of like the old Bartolo Colon. You know, he used to throw that front hip 2-seamer at us lefties. And I would go to the umpire and I'd say, listen, he's going to, especially if we were the home team and I got to catch first, I'd go to the umpire and say, listen, I know what he's going to do. He's going to give me 2 strikes. He's going to throw one that starts at me, and it's not going to be a strike, but you're going to think it's a strike because I'm going to jump out of the way, and you've seen it a million times, and the catcher's going to go back there and bring it back, and you're going to ring me up because the crowd's going to be all excited or whatever. It's not a strike, so please don't do that. And every single umpire would be like, I won't. And then as soon as he got to that, first lefty comes up, he does it, and they ring him up, and they're like, oh, the crowd's all excited. You know, and the ball moved, but if you went to the overhead, it would never cross the plate. It would go around the plate, but every umpire was so excited to call that because, it's such a cool pitch. Oh, watch, so guys jumping out of the way. And then every once in a while, you get the one umpire that would say, all right, I'm not going to do it. And he actually wouldn't do it. And they had a much harder time because the one that started out started out at your front hip and came back that wasn't a strike wouldn't get called. And then it was like, okay, now I got this guy because now I don't have to cover it. Then I don't have to cover that. Yeah. And it was like, okay, finally, the umpire's doing so. I don't know. Again, there could have been more to it than that, but you know. And I once had an umpire, Kratz, love us. Once I had an umpire, I said that to him. I said, "Hey, just don't call this because I know he's going to do it." And he calls it on me, and he goes, "I went into the game. I knew you were going to say that to me, and I wasn't going to call it. And I called it." He's like, "I am so sorry." I was like, what can I say at that point? I was like, "All right."
Wait, but was the pitch a ball or a strike?
Yes, it was a ball.
It was a ball.
But he's like, just get excited and just.
I got excited. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you're like, okay. Well, there's nothing you can say. You're like, okay.
No, you got to say, you know who doesn't get excited? AI. The robo umpire.
This is before robo umpire.
No, I know. Wait, real quick before our guest comes on, because we've gotten a few requests from fans that have shown me a clip and said, hey, you got to show this. There are people. Oh, well, we can show this too, John Singleton. But I was going to mention there have been some complaints with the ABS where the batter looks back to the ump and the ump goes like this, like, dude, don't complain to me. It's not me. Anyway, we liked John Singleton pimping this homer, and then the shout out here from Chandler Rome, and then afterward the quote from Singleton. He said, "If you can pimp the finish." Wait, bring that back up because I don't have it unless it's there. Or I can pull it up.
Pitcher's finish, what do you say?
If you can pimp the finish, like a pitcher, if you throw a ball, there's a finish. It's kind of the same thing. If you can get to a certain point, you can do it after a really good swing. It's all natural.
I didn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he just finishes high and he just kind of dropped the bat.
Yeah,
Fine.
I love it. Keep it up, John. And he's a great story.
And I'm all for pimping homers. I pimp plenty. I pimped outs too. So, I mean,
pimping, flopping, we want it all. Okay. So go for it. Now let's get to our next guest. He is ready to go. C. Trent Rosecrans from The Athletic joining us right now. C. Trent, great to have you on right now. And let's start with a little Elly De La Cruz update. Do you think, and injuries included and everything else, like risk, do you think when we get to the end of the year, Elly De La Cruz will have 100 stolen bases or more?
No, it's just so hard to get that many. You're right. I mean, it's absurd that we're even talking about it being a possibility. I think you've actually seen him get a little less liberal in his decisions of late. That'll probably come back around at some point, but I just think there's just so many variables there to get 100. I mean, like, honestly, right now, you tell me he finishes with 70, I'm like, oh my God, 70 bags. That's unbelievable. And 100 is, even as a child of the 80s, it still sounds like fantasy land.
is that your City Connect writer's shirt, or is that Jeremiah Johnson? Who is that on your shoulders that you have? Daniel Davy Crockett?
The Mandalorian.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
That guy.
Now, if you did the interview with your helmet, then I would say this is the way. But
there it is.
I get it.
I'm guessing many people would think that would be the best way, is if I put that on my head instead of saying this.
Well, no, if you had the shirt, though, and the helmet, because, as a Mandalorian, you're never supposed to take your helmet off.
Right, which also many people would want that. So here we go.
Yes. Let's go.
I love it.
I love it.
The AirPods are falling out, though, so it's an issue.
Just give us a "this is the way" before you go.
What?
This is the way.
Yes, I love it.
Good. That's great pace to it, too.
Mask.
You turn the light on, though. The light's on.
Oh, man. I don't even know how to turn it off because it never turns on. But, yeah, I'll put it somewhere else, and I will put on glasses so I can see. All right.
By the way,
this is fun.
Since we're not talking about baseball anymore, let's talk about funner things. Did you think that they should have named the Baby Yoda Grogu, or did you think that was a terrible name like most of the people online?
I think it's fine. I mean, there was no way that it was going to live up to whatever expectation it was. Life is all about managing reality versus expectations. So keep expectations low. Reality's fine.
There you go. I'm going to swing this back to baseball.
No, this is way more. I'd much rather talk Star Wars and Mandalorian.
Let's talk about the Acolyte.
Acolyte's
coming out.
What is that? I haven't seen that one yet. What is that one about?
Oh, new series starting June 4th on Disney Plus. So yeah,
it's
about 100 years before Phantom Menace. Rise of the Dark Side, basically.
Oh, okay.
Scott
is like, what are we talking about?
No, I know Star Wars. I like Stars. I don't follow all of the series. I haven't seen all the recent stuff. More of a 70s guy.
Mandalorian is
OGs
good
came
show.
out.
Good show.
The Step Brothers. Remember the last line of Step Brothers when he
Mine's not movie quality, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite movie lines of all time. It's like you think they've like finally kind of grown up, and he's like,
"Treehouse,
grown up,
a boathouse."
Such a good line. All right, so somehow I'm going to get us back on track here, not on the Reds, but on baseball. I'll show a recent tweet from C. Trent. If you became MLB commissioner, what would be your first move? And C. Trent had an answer. He said, I'd allow customized painted bats in crazy designs and also allow catchers to personalize their helmets like NHL goalies. I felt like that applied, being that we were kind of having a little wardrobe chat. So want to give us any more background and we can see what our catchers think about it?
That's self-explanatory. We've seen the guys have fun with the shoes and people look at those online. do with the bat, like a flames on your bat, something else. Who knows? You could do like the Gunnar Henderson. I bring it back to Star Wars. Did you see Gunnar Henderson's Star Wars bat that he had last week for May the 4th? They were in Cincinnati, and it's gorgeous. It's not exactly one you could play with, but imagine having like a lightsaber. It has the hilt. You use your lizard skins as a hilt, and I think it would be perfect. It would be fun, and baseball is fun. Maybe I say that because I watch Ellie De La Cruz every day, but baseball should be fun. Guys should have fun. I coached high school baseball this year, and those guys had fun. It's the way to do it, man. Like anything we can do that gets people excited and brings some attention to the sport. Those are two silly, easy things. They're going to allow the bats thing for the Players Weekend. Let's just do it all the time. What does it hurt? You use pink bats or blue bats different times. I just don't see, like, these are two easy ones. That's why it was like, what would you do? It's like, well, I would do two things that are just so easy and nobody would be against that you could get right in. You want to get your legislation in quickly so you can say you've done something. Otherwise, I'm dealing with, Major League Baseball. If I'm the commissioner, I'm dealing with the Players Association, and they probably will push back on some things, as they should, because that's their job. But, other things, they'd be like, okay, cool, yeah. So just little goodwill.
Why is baseball not willing to do that kind of thing? I'm not saying that they denied your claim to do this, but why are they so afraid of things like Players Weekend? We don't even have nicknames on the back. It's like peace, hope, and love Players Weekend.
It's again, I'll do it. This is in the Star Wars fan community. I hear this all the time. It's like nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. I feel like baseball's the same way. Pitch clock. Oh my God, it's going to be the worst thing ever, and then it turns out to be great. The shift. I don't like banning the shift. We don't like the change. Whereas, like, you look at other sports, and like, oh wait, it's always been this will be worth 2 points. What if we say, hey, this is worth 3, and nobody died? NFL, you added 2-point conversion. You changed the playoff or overtime all the time. Nobody freaks out. It seems like baseball fans freak out about change more than anybody. And the game has changed. And hey, let's keep going into the future. I don't think this is. I don't know. I don't think like I'm like some first person to ever think these things or say these things. But also, it's like they're concentrating on so many other things. Maybe they just don't think about it and like, oh yeah, Rob Manfred. Maybe I'm sure Rob's watching right now. He's like, oh, I've been meaning to call Trent. That's a great idea. I'll implement it tomorrow. So maybe we just see it tomorrow after Rob sees this. Hi, Rob.
Well, Trent. They actually used to have cool painted helmets, catcher's helmets.
Yeah,
and also another thing that a lot of people don't know. In 2016, when I was with the Braves, we played at Fort Bragg. We played the Marlins. And we went to Major League Baseball, and I had a company, and I had it all set up. We were going to get our helmets, and they were going to dip them in like an American flag. So when we took the field, and our batting helmets would have the American flag. We're playing at Fort Bragg, right? And MLB's like, nope, can't do it. Safety issue. And we're like, wait, what? So football players can take their helmets, dip them the same way, and go get smashed in the head for 3 hours with each other. But a baseball batting helmet you can't take. And they're like, well, both teams can't do it. We're like, we'll do it for the Marlins too. Like, it'll be amazing. We can have, stripes and they can have the stars or whatever. We can make it the same. They're like, nope, safety issues. So, I mean, sometimes Major League Baseball, listen, they're like,
I'm not saying, I am not defending, I'm not defending Major League Baseball here. I'm just, saying sometimes they believe, why don't we say that? Sometimes they just believe they have bigger fish to fry and they don't think of the little things or who knows? There could be a million reasons. I like fun at the ballpark. And so that's me.
True. All right. So now let's get to the real important question. What the fuck's wrong with the Reds? 20-28. Not what we were expecting. Ellie's doing this thing, but the rest of the team is not where we thought they would be. What is happening?
Well, a big part of it is probably maybe the guy who was your best player last year hasn't played, and he was going to be the number 2 hitter. Your leadoff hitter has played 5 games, had a wrist injury. 5 games later, gets hit by or the 6th game later, breaks his finger, and that's TJ Friedel. And he was your leadoff guy. Number 2 is Matt McClain, who was your projected. Well, he was your best player last year. I really believe that. Other guys have gone up and down, but then you also lose Christian Encarnacion Strand, Noel V. Marte, who you're banking on. There's a lot of little things, and they're not hitting great. The pitching has been pretty good. I mean, shoot, not just Abbott yesterday. Check out Hunter Green's last couple of starts. It's like, it's almost like he's like flipped a switch, and these guys have fewer strikeouts but are going longer. And Andrew Abbott had 2 strikeouts last night against a good Padres lineup, but he also didn't give up any runs. And so I think there's signs, but a lot of it is who they are missing. And I think they expected some guys to have setbacks. A guy like Will Benson has not performed like he did most of last year. And they expected a couple of those, but they thought they're out of like 4 or 5 of these sophomores, maybe 2 would, but the other 3 would take steps forward. Well, now you only have a couple of these guys on the field. And, when you have Mike Ford and Santiago Espinal starting, those guys didn't start the year. Well, Ford was in good year at the beginning, but Espinal was later. Ford's been back and forth. Nick Martini's gone up and down. You're seeing bench guys play a lot, and that's really the biggest issue.
What about Tyler Stevenson? Are we looking at an all-star catcher? His year he's putting together, could he be his first all-star that we thought when he got – I remember hearing about him when he first got drafted. He could be a perennial all-star.
Yeah, the one thing with Tyler is what seems to be happening is he's always had a really good approach. You look at him and you just heck, like you said, like right when he got drafted, I remember his first spring training. I was like, holy crap, that kid's not fresh out of high school. But you look at him and he had kind of the same stature he has now. But I think what's happened is he's kind of come into that strength, and that was something you heard a lot, despite how big he was. And and before the draft, the biggest thing was him pimping a home run, which is funny in retrospect, knowing Tyler. But it was one of those things that, oh man, when that man strength comes in, like you add the approach and that frame and then a little maturity, and there's going to be power. And you see it now. It's the same approach, but he's hitting the ball harder. And we all know you hit the ball hard, you hit it on a line, you get success.
I got one. Swinging back to Ellie, because I'm only allowed to ask Ellie De La Cruz questions during a
Yes,
Red
you
segment.
are.
That's fine.
That is it.
I'm not like gushing like, oh my God, it's all I can talk about, whatever. I like other baseball players like Luis Suarez, George Kirby. I got other faves. Ellie's number 1. It's true. He's number 1 for a lot of people. He's very entertaining.
He is entertaining.
If you watch that first game of the Dodgers series, it was Ellie beating the Dodgers by himself. It was ridiculous. It was a different kind of baseball. You saw Trent. Like that's a special game. And it wasn't just because he put up the whatever it was, 4 or 5 swipes. It was like every time he was up, it's like, oh shit. Like if we're in the zone, he's gonna hit it. If we're not, he's not gonna swing, he's gonna get on, he's gonna be on third in 8 seconds.
That's the difference with Ellie is like, there are some guys, you're like, well, I'm going to walk him instead of risk the solo homer. With Ellie, it's almost like, well, what's the difference? Because if I walk him, he's on third. And I'm worried about this guy who has stolen home, and maybe I miss to the next hitter, and it's a 2-run home run. At least if Ellie hits a home run, heck, it's just 1. 2 is more than 1. That's the math.
No, I get it, right? Like, you remember when...
That's good mathing right there. 2 is more than 1.
Remember when we used to... 700 on my SAT math score.
On both, we get it.
Higher than my sister, Dr. Rosecrans. So
Ooh, nice.
There you go.
She crushed me in the verbal, though.
Okay.
Which is weird because you're the writer, but...
Yeah, but she's a shrink, so...
Okay. Oh, okay. Remember when we had shifts, just starting to emerge, and there would be, a power hitter, and they'd be, you should just bunt every time to get on, and, we'd have that whole debate, right? Well, with this, that's what it reminds me of. It's like, yo, walking Ellie does not solve your problem. It's still an extra base hit. So that leads me to my next question, because he's been a one-man show essentially, and Stevenson to an extent obviously has been probably their second best hitter. Why is there not an extension on the table for this man already? Because the one thing we do know is that his price is likely going to continue to soar. So if you are serious about this young player, and even if you're concerned about long-term health because he's running so much, he's not 26, 27. He's whatever, 21, 22. You'd have a lot of time of a player in his prime who has all the tools, including the speed that will deteriorate over time. But that's 10 years away.
Oh, I don't think it's anything on the Red side. You know who his agent is, right? He's a Scott Boras client.
Yes. So that's it? You don't think they at least threw something at him and said, hey, Scott, or hey, Ellie, 150. And you think he was just
sure
like,
Bob Castellini and Nick Kroll and that whole crew have said, Scott, we'd love to see him here long term. And we are open to that. And if Ellie wanted that, I know he is, Scott works for him, as Scott likes to tell you. But when you look at patterns, that
was funny. That was funny. It was a good one.
Yeah. But when you look at patterns, Scott Boras's clients usually try to go to free agency. Free agency is one of my favorite things to say is it's not free and the players have agency. So that is very important to remember. And I don't know, man, he's only been there twice, but look at the games that Ellie De La Cruz has played at Dodger Stadium, and Reds fans will hate to hear me say this, but you're talking in 4 or 5 years, maybe he's playing with Shohei Ohtani. I don't know. Guessing anybody's going to the Dodgers who would be paid a lot is hardly going out on a limb, but man, he seems to just thrive in that stadium.
Yeah. What did he say? I love LA because of Grand Theft Auto, GTA. I know it well. I really enjoy playing baseball. Wait, what? It's right up there with Eminem.
Hopefully he doesn't run out of the ballpark and start, jacking cars and doing all. Hey, it's real life Grand Theft Auto.
Dude, I think if he went out in Cincinnati and asked you for your car, there would be a lot of people who would just give it to him.
Agreed, especially if he signed an extension. So last one for me. I wanted to get your thoughts on the pitching staff as a whole. So take me through, how you think the starting rotation has performed expectation-wise, and to the bullpen, because it's not just Edwin, but his brother Alexis has been struggling too.
Alexis has been struggling, and but I think yesterday was good. He got the save in a big situation, even after walking the leadoff batter. But then getting a big strikeout of Machado and the double play ball. That's huge. That is such a mental side that those of us who you remember a long time ago, there would be the sabermetric fight, closers, it doesn't matter. It's the ninth, the same as any other inning. I think most people have kind of come around. No, there is a mental difference, because if you think it's different, it is different. But that is a big, confidence is huge. You two are psychologists. That's what you've done your whole life. And when you see your closer, when they're coming and they're going good, it doesn't matter what they throw. It just seems to be outs. And when it wavers a little bit, well, it gets tricky. And the bullpen has been okay. They've had their issues, but the rotation, it just keeps getting more solid. You look at it, Brandon Williamson is getting closer to a return, and he'll probably be in AAA. What Hunter Green has made some steps recently, I think. He's looked so good. Lodolo, when healthy, I can't imagine, if you're a left-handed hitter, you can't get far enough into the other box to try to get that breaking ball he has. And if you're a right-handed hitter, you don't know whether to swing or to get out of the way, because it could be a strike or it could hit your back foot. He's the definition of back foot slider. Frankie Montas he's been pretty good on the mound, but in so much better in the clubhouse. You played with Frankie, right, Eric?
No, I did
Am I
not.
right about that? Okay,
No, we
okay.
missed.
Sorry, I thought
We missed each other.
okay. But you talk to anybody about Frankie Montas, and there's a big reason why the Reds went out and targeted him. They love him, and they loved him from afar, and they love him up close because of just who he is. They've got some guys, and it's been pretty fun to watch. Watch Andrew Abbott. Like, you guys have to go back last night. He was just so good. He doesn't look like it. It doesn't look the part. Hunter Green, you look at him, you go, oh man, that's a pitcher. Nick Lodolo's tall, lanky lefty, and then you have Andrew Abbott, who the only thing missing is a dart, and he would be in 1980s baseball card. It's just awesome. It's like he's the reincarnation of Tom Browning, and so that's fun to watch. And you just have everything from 103 to that. And I think there's a lot to look forward to. And then some, Rhett Lauder's not too far away. And that guy was so impressive in spring. There are certain guys who just watch how they walk, watch how they interact with people, watch how they stand on the mound. And you're like, they're big leaguers. That's Rhett Lauder. That dude's a big leaguer.
Agreed. Yeah, that's another one. I'm hoping soon. They need to get going here.
And then, hey, next year you add Charlie Condon to it because you always need Georgia Bulldogs.
Wait, but they have the second pick. Wait, so how is this playing out?
Everything was going great until that comment. That fucking comment. Leg humpers do not deserve to be talked about.
He was giving Cags the first overall pick.
This is confetti from 2002 National Championship game. So, yeah.
That shows you how smart you Bulldogs are. It was 2022, but that's okay, Trent. I understand.
2022. I get them confused. They just come so often now, AJ.
Yeah, you leg humpers. You leg humpers are all the same.
700 SAT math.
Then you shouldn't cut the bottoms off your jeans. If you're worried about
no. Whoa,
you have your cutoff jean shorts.
Whoa. First of all, let's just get one thing straight. The girls in Florida look hot in their cutoff jean shorts. Second of all, the people from Georgia, you know why the St. Johns rivers flow north, right? It's one of the few rivers in the world that does it because Georgia sucks.
Have you been to Jacksonville? It smells.
Every year. I go every year. I'm there every year. Come on by. Lodge J, I'll be there.
I would love to tailgate with you at Georgia, Florida this year.
This is what I also don't understand. It's Florida, Georgia, so don't call it by the wrong name.
I think we do it because, we feel bad for you, so we'll just go visit you. And it is some kind of advantage we can try to give you. My freshman year was the year that Steve Spurrier hung half 100 on him at Sanford Stadium. That was my sophomore.
What'd you guys do? Oh, I can't believe he threw
I was laughing. Yeah.
Georgia fans cried like little biatches. It's fine.
Hey, who's your coach now? I don't know. Is he still there, or is he fired next week?
Oh, here we go.
Do they care about recruiting anymore? I don't know.
I mean, you guys should watch the
Living
reckless
in the
driving.
past,
Speaking of living in the past, I mean, Georgia's past is their future.
I honestly,
my God,
I don't have much to contribute to this. I don't follow it.
Until you've been to so see, Trent, I hope will back me up. Like, people are like, oh, I want to go to a Gator game, or I want to go to a Georgia game, and I want to go at Sanford Stadium, or I want to go in the Swamp. I'm like, listen, if you want to go to the game that will change your life, go to Florida, Georgia, and Jacksonville. And people are like, what do you mean? It's a neutral site. Just trust me. If you get the opportunity to go, just pick a side. I don't care if you're a Florida or you're a Georgia fan, and just go tailgate, because we get there at 7 in the morning. The game is at 3:30. We go all day. We go all night, and it doesn't stop. The game is just a pause in between. And now they serve alcohol at the game, so it just isn't even a pause anymore.
Because there was no alcohol in the stadium before, AJ.
Not one time.
Yeah.
Not one time.
Now you just spend more money.
It's right, $40 for a beer, but it is a bucket list item that if you have never done it, you've got to just do it. and you will have a blast. I promise you. Either side, even when Florida loses, I still have a great time.
Which is every year now.
All right. Well,
I remember in 2007, I was standing on the goal line with one time Georgia won in about 15 years. They're like, we're going to throw a party because we actually scored.
Oh yeah, no. That was my year.
I was on the goal line. I was on the goal line that year, by the way, when they scored, and I was like, "What the hell is happening? Is there a fight that I'm missing?" And Mark Rick's like, "We got to try and do
Mark
something
Rick.
different."
Yep.
Yeah, and then Urban Meyer's like next year was like timeout. Oh wait, timeout. Yeah.
Hey,
good.
They got away with that better than a lot of people who cross Urban Meyer, so that's good.
True. All right, we'll see, Trent. You're never invited back. It was nice having you.
I'll be at Reds, I don't know, Cubs or something in September instead. So
no, it's after baseball season. It's the weekend of Halloween. So it's either the weekend of Halloween or
World
after.
Series.
No, it's World
Which means
Series
I'm
over,
usually
bro.
free.
Yeah, good point. Great point.
Appreciate you. Next time we chat, Reds will be over 500.
Ooh.
So we'll see you soon. All right.
Oh, so you don't want me back?
Yeah, it might be next April, but we will see you back at some point. Thank you, C. Trent. You're the man. Appreciate you, man.
See you guys.
See ya. Go check out C. Trent's work in The Athletic and go give him a follow as well at C. Trent on Twitter. Game of the day. Got a better one for you today, okay? Yesterday was a game that you watched because you placed money on it. Today is actually one that has some implications. It's the Red Sox and the Rays, your free game of the day streaming on the BetMGM app. Live streaming available to all BetMGM customers who are logged in and have funded accounts. There it is. Red Sox and Rays, 6:50 Eastern time. And I'm going to talk more about this game in our pick segment, which has a brand new intro. Here it is. Did you see that? Do you like that?
It's a lion.
It's a lion. I love it. There's your locks from yesterday.
I'm so happy Pabbelbaum lost, always picking against those White Sox.
You guys all lost except for the FT heater. Javier Assad got to 4Ks exactly. I watched that game front to back. I felt like an underdog watching that game.
Oh, bro, first of all, let me just say
battled
this.
the wind.
It was like bases loaded second and third, like every inning. And I'm like, all right, someone's eventually going to get a hit. And nobody ever got the hit.
Dude, that game was freaking awesome. That was like 3 hours and change. I think the Braves were 0 for 14 RISP.
Oh, something crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, that game was wild. Even the strikeouts, like, so he ends up getting it on a Matt Olson elevated cutter. He got him twice on the same pitch there in that at bat. And like, I mean, I guess, Olson hasn't been off to the greatest start this year. There was multiple sick catches to hold things down. You saw what? 2 Michael Harris catches
the one
that were
Acuna
great.
made against the wall was sick too.
Acuna made a nice one, which, he hadn't done as many of those this year. That's where I'm like a little concerned about the knee because he did that a lot last year, but you felt a little bit better about what he was doing. Braves offense is still kind of struggle city. They're not hitting with the power.
They had a stat last night about them. They're averaging like the last month 3 runs a game offensively. Or
it's like one of the worst offenses in baseball in the last month, which you just never see that for a month for the Braves.
But again, Riley, Olson, and even Acuna haven't gotten really going yet.
You know what happened too? I was nervous because the game went to extras, and I'm like, it's 3-3, and I'm
you're
like,
it's going to be like 4-4, 5-5.
These assholes are going to score like, or just you're going to get like a 4-run inning or something, and then they're going to get one more on the bottom, and nope, 4-3 walk off. So banger FT heater above 500. I think that we're 4-2 on the year. Anyway, let's do our picks. So there's money bags. Everybody is up. Gotta love it. Lock of the day, Kratz. You start.
I need to kick it into gear here. So I'm going Taijuan Walker under 4 Ks, under 4.5 Ks, and I'm going Dane Dunning over 4.5 Ks. It's gonna be plus 175. Got to get back on the winning side here. I've been missing big, so I need to get back on the winning side here. Texas makes a little bit of contact. Dane Dunning's going to chase some balls out of the zone, try to run a few sinkers back onto the plate, and rack up a few Ks early.
Yeah, the only problem I worry about Dunning, he's been out for so long. I don't know if he's going to be in there long enough to get to that number.
Fair.
That's the one thing I worry about with Dunning.
This is his first start back? No.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah, he's been on the IL for like a few weeks now.
I thought he had one back already.
I don't think so. Because
Let me
Bochy, when I was there, on Saturday, was like, I can't wait to get Dunning back.
Yeah, it was May 4th.
You're right. I'm switching.
Too late. Too late. All right, I'm going San Francisco, Pittsburgh over 7.5. Snell's coming back for the first time after his injury, and I know Jones is pitching for Pittsburgh, but I feel like he's going to give up a couple. He usually makes one mistake, and the Giants have been swinging it fairly decently lately. So, but I'm only betting $1 because that way I can stay positive for sure.
No,
I can't do that.
No, that's too low.
I can't bet 50 cents.
I don't know if you can even do that.
It's plus 100, so if I bet 50 cents the rest of the way, I'll almost make it to the
50
end
cents is
of
the
the
minimum on the BetMGM app.
Oh, see.
I actually like this one today. Like I'm legitimately going to tail it. You don't want to
I'm
throw
actually
$100
going
down?
100. I'm going 100
Okay.
to win 100. Come on.
Thank you. I'm feeling good about that one. I like it. I'll hang a little Tampa Bay money line -130 to win a hundo. Pepio's back. I think he had a really bad start, his first start, and then just was dealing. Left with the leg injury in his start on May 5th. He returns. I think that he will stuff his way to 4 or 5 innings for the Rays.
Even though it's Bayo Day, Lucy Burns is going to be mad at you, boy.
I know it's Bayo Day. Red Sox going for the sweep, too. These kind of series often don't end up in sweeps. So I think the Rays offense picks it up today and gets a dub. And we'll see what happens. It is BetMGM week, or BetMGM Big Money week on Wheel of Fortune. Yes, that Wheel of Fortune, the TV show. BetMGM's giving away up to $10 million in bonuses all week long. You can take a spin on their big money wheel for daily prizes and a chance to win $10,000. So if you're into Wheel of Fortune, head over to the BetMGM Sportsbook app if you're an account holder, and you can play the big money wheel little game that they have running right now. And reward types include SGP, boost tokens, odds boost tokens, parlay boost tokens, bet insurance tokens, and bonus bets. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ooh, we're going to do batting stance. Just 3. Just 3. Were you with us for the last one, Kratz, or was that when you were in KC?
No, I was there.
Okay.
Unless you did it recently.
Did you see the one with the pitchers?
No.
Oh,
those
so
are easy.
You missed the last one. Yeah. We had some Inception shit. But anyway, let's do 3 here. Batting stance. Thoughts?
It's a lefty.
Bingo.
I know that. I should know that. I don't know. I should know that because I recognize the finish.
How about the toe?
Is it the Crone? It's not Crone Zone again, is it? We already did him, though, I thought. Gavin Lux. Thanks, Duffy. Gavin Lux.
Let's try it. Banger.
So good.
Duffy in the chat. Nailed it. Good job.
Nice job, Danny Duffy.
Yeah.
Matt Duffy.
That's what he's doing. Wait, so we are doing pitchers now?
Yes, we're doing pitchers. No, because Todd was on and he was arguing that it was a lefty or a righty when it was.
Yeah, but now you can see because that's where they're throwing. It's not some Inception.
MacArthur, the closer from the Royals.
Rockies? Royals. Clark MacArthur?
James?
Hymas.
Let's see how many times Claudia has to spell it.
No. What did we get right?
He's from the USA.
That's it.
That's good. That'll help. So it's a U.S. pitcher. Cool.
And the yellow means he's in the same league?
Yellow
Right.
means he's in the same. Yes. So he's in, but he's not in the Central.
Someone's super skinny.
D-Rod said the right leg spins really wild. That's what she said.
Yeah, but everybody does that. Jeez. John Gray. Someone said John Gray. It's got some John Gray to it.
Oh, yeah. A little short arm style.
Trey Bien said that. John Gray.
Look at that.
Good job.
Trey Bien.
Nice. Good work. Good job, Trey.
Hey, Trey.
One more.
Gavin Lux. Oh, dang it. I got that one right.
Flip it.
Oh.
Righty.
Leaning back on that ass.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Salvi?
I don't think so. Bobby. You know I swing at everything, though. I did that when we were on stage. I did my Salvi impression. Kansas City loved it.
What did he say?
He loved it, too.
Of course.
I don't know that one. I don't know who puts the bat on their shoulder like that nowadays.
It's a Cuban. That high heel. Cuban full toe up. Let's get a Adolis Garcia.
No.
We just need to put something down to try and get some hints.
Yeah.
It's not a Cuban.
He's in the AL. Oh, jeez. It looks like Jose Abreu used to finish, but he's not from Cuba.
Yeah.
Someone's saying just JT, but no. Justin Turner, no.
Manny Ramirez. It's an active player, Colossal.
Manny Ramirez. That's not how Manny Ramirez hit either.
Nope.
Manny Ramirez had his hands up here.
Isak?
Who?
Paredes?
Yeah. That's actually a good one. I like that one. Paredes.
I do like that.
I like that one because that is kind of how he finishes like that.
The Prince of Pull?
AL East.
Adley Rutschman, right-handed.
Ooh. So no. Need some. Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Kratz.
That's
Banger.
so cool
Good
that
job.
he finishes on his front heel. That's boss.
Yeah, that was good. Those were tough ones today. Well done. Okay, let's move to our favorite language learning app. 1 in 5 Americans have learn a new language on their bucket list. It's been on my list. I'm working on Spanish. There it is. Work on your Spanish or the language of your preference with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. And it's designed by real people for real conversations. And we love that word on FT. I was in South America not too long ago, and I communicated
You were on so many drugs, Scott, though,
Poorly.
that you were speaking tongues.
poorly. I good enough to be able to occasionally get what I want. And other times they would hand you something that you didn't ask for. And I was like, did I mess up? Or do they just want to give me this because they like me? But anyway, I'm going to work on it with Babbel. And I know Kratz is working on it too right now in the app. And the key is time because we don't have much of it. So you can get the job done in 10 minutes or less per day if need be. For learning.
I'm all
I'm
for
not
it.
even
I cannot
cracking
wait.
jokes.
I am all for it. I need to learn another language, so need this Babbel.
You know what's funny?
Business.
There are very few people that travel as much as you do.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah, true.
So you ever feel like you're in another country and you wish that you could just have a full-on conversation?
Yeah, you know
with
what
someone?
I do? I pull out my phone, I turn on the Babbel app, and I type it in, and it reads it back.
Yeah,
to me.
that
And then I hold
helps.
it up to the cab driver, and it says "Dónde está el baño?" and he takes me to the shitter.
That's it. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. Do you want to be able to take your
I'm
game
going
to
to
the
London
next
in a couple
level?
weeks. I need a translator for that.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No.
Some of that
No.
Cockney those people talk over there. You do need it. It's like going to Boston sometimes.
I'm going to Greece soon,
Ooh.
but I'm learning Spanish. So anyway, give Babbel a try.
No, seriously, I do want to learn another language, and I can't wait to get the get a shot at this thing.
Go for it.
Like,
Okay.
what's the over/under on days until I'm speaking fluently?
They said it says within 3 weeks you will notice a difference in your conversational language that you're studying. Conversational. Because that's what it does. It doesn't just give you like picking out words like hamburguesa, scene, pan, no bread for my hamburger. No,
I say sin leche because I can't have dairy.
Sin leche y pan. It's not leche. Leche is milk and something else.
But that's how you say dairy. Sin leche. Anyway, I'm working on it, okay? And here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, you can get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription. Only
let's have a contest.
If you're an FT listener.
Who can learn to speak Spanish faster, me or Scott?
I already speak it because I've already been deep into the Babbel app. At Babbel.com/foul is where you can get up to 60% off. Babbel.com/foul. If you're listening right now and you're on the road, wait until you stop driving or something, but Babbel.com/foul. Rules and restrictions apply. How do you measure a competition like that?
Well, you just said you already speak it. So let's try something else.
I'm doing well because I've been using it and I'm getting better.
All right, let's try Polish then.
No.
So the problem is I can't do multiple at a time. Like you can do that in the app if you want, but I got to do one and focus. And once I speak it fluently, I'll move on.
You just said you speak Spanish.
I don't speak it fluently. I'm not even close yet.
Kratz, back me up. He said I speak Spanish.
He said he already started.
Thank you. Let's slap. So a few things. Tomorrow morning, you will get an email for the FT Leadoff newsletter. Hopefully you're signed up for that. I'll drop it in the chat right now. Scan the QR code, get our newsletter. It features some can't miss FT items, but most importantly, it just features the main news of the day, days, nights, week, all that in a tight little email, a few thumb scrolls, and you're there. You need whatever you need from the morning before FT, it's there for you. So go check it out. Also for Kratz hats, while you're doing this, Kratz, the Irishman in the chat said, does Kratz have a closet at home just for his hat, or is it an entire wing of his house? Answer that while you deliver Kratz hats for us, please.
It's on a table, and they're all stacked up like this. Like they're all stacked like that, and they just pile up on top of each other. They were all in a bag for probably, I don't know how many years, but they're all in a bag for quite a few years. And now they're out on a table, and when I don't put them away, we're out on the ping pong table. So you got to move them to play ping pong. Fisher Cats, clearly I didn't wear this one for a while. The sticker was on the top. I found this one. This one was brand new. Sticker still on the bottom. I know AJ loves keeping the stickers on them, but New Hampshire Fisher Cats, the shiver by the river. Maybe one of the scariest animals ever.
A Fisher cat?
Oh, look it up. It's like a mongoose.
I don't know anything
about it. Is that like a TCU horny frog that spits blood at you, even though the thing's this big, and they're like, oh, it'll get you? And my carpenter used to be like, oh, our horny frog will split blood at you. And I go, I'll squash that thing like a little freaking mosquito.
No, this thing's like it's like a mongoose. Like they'll come and chew your heart out.
Wow.
Have you ever seen a mongoose in real life? You ever been to Hawaii? They don't have snakes in Hawaii because they got mongoose that eat them all. True story.
Really?
Be on the golf course sometimes in Hawaii, and there'll be a freaking mongoose comes out of the woods, and you're like, what the hell is that thing?
Give me a
I mean, they're like
size.
this big, but they got mean looks. They look way meaner than a Fisher cat does.
Fisher cat looks cute. Is that a baby?
That thing chicken.
I gotta remember. I gotta go back at pictures. Would they have been in Africa, mongooses?
I don't know. I know they're in Hawaii though.
Thank you, Last Dive Bar, for this shirt I'm wearing. Major League, but it's a possum. Good one. It's a great shirt.
So many deep meanings.
Good work. It is, yes. Go check them out on Last Dive Bar's site. And also, there are new coffee mugs and everything else on the FT site, foulterritoryshop.com. All right, that's it. Joe Buck tomorrow, Johnny Gomes tomorrow, and a player to be named later. See you then.